Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey. We have another Webfire Wednesday webinar for you, and some pretty cool stuff on this call too. So what we'll actually do on this call is we'll talk about a new important SEO trend. Then we'll actually do a walkthrough of two new tools that are actually being released today in beta inside of Webfire 3, so you will have access to these shortly after I show them off to you. And then we'll follow it up with the Q&A where you'll have a chance to actually earn some cash as well. And what's exciting is that I briefly talked about a few tools last week. We talked about a couple new features in the social poster tool, and that you had access to right then. And then I briefly talked about two new tools that were in the works. Now, originally, I thought it might take like a couple weeks or so to release them officially, but we're actually ahead of schedule with that, and we actually have the beta officially done right now. It's just being basically added into the members area, the links and all that in the tool tab. So you'll see that shortly today in the members area. So shortly after this call, you'll see that. But I thought I'd take this call to kind of walk you completely through both of the tools and talk a bit about them and why they're important. And again, those are free additions inside of Webfire 3, even though both of those are pretty cool and ones that you could easily see being charged lots of money for because of how useful they can actually be. But again, you guys will get to that access shortly for free, so that's kind of a cool announcement right there. I think you guys will really enjoy that. And yeah, by the time we're done with this call, you'll have a complete understanding of how it all works. But on top of that, when we release the tools later today, we'll also have walkthroughs with it as well. But I'll go into a little more detail about why it's important, and you can kind of see hands-on all the stuff that you can do with it, and you'll understand why. So pretty cool stuff. And as always, if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask those because at the very end of this call, we'll have a Q&A. So, any questions that you have, again, feel free to ask, and either Sean or Sharon, who are on this call right now, will either answer you in the chat, or I'll actually answer you at the very end. So Sean's voice is kind of shot now. He's a bit sick, so you probably won't hear from him too much.
That's because I got old 2 weeks ago, and so ever since it's all been downhill.
Yep, that's how it goes. But anyway, without further ado, we can get the show on the road. So once again, my name is Brian Kaz, and on this Webfire Wednesday webinar, we'll talk about a new important SEO trend, and then a walkthrough of two new tools that are being released today in beta inside of Webfire 3.0. And again, those are included in Webfire 3 for free. Again, they're free updates because we're always doing new updates and cool stuff. And then, of course, we'll have a Q&A where you can ask anything that you want, so feel free to get those questions ready. So moving on. So again, welcome to this Webfire Wednesday webinar. And again, it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll host a live training and or Q&A call for our Webfire 3.0 members. These trainings will either feature myself, Brian Kaz, Sean Casey, both of us at once, or occasionally a featured special guest if we think that their expertise would be of value to our members. If you're here or you're registered for this series, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make one, we'll have the recordings in the members area within a day of any of the calls under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. Of course, it's always recommended that you show up live because then you can interact more, you can ask questions, and all sorts of good stuff like that. Use these calls as an opportunity to get even more training, ask strategy-type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to see or learn. And as a special note, make sure to check out our prior trainings, as a lot of topics that we get asked on are covered extensively on some of the past trainings. And a lot of those will give kind of like, they'll be titled or named basically after what the training is about, so you can get like a pretty clear idea of what's what there. So keep that in mind, because we're always asked, hey, can you do training on this or training on that? And 9 times out of 10, if not more, is a topic that we've already covered extensively. And the important topics we cover a lot in the future too, so it's not like we just do one call and then stop. So the important stuff we'll reiterate throughout time as well, but definitely check out prior calls. And of course, our Webfire member rules to success. Number 1, follow the steps in the trainings that we have. Number 2, don't give up. Seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. If you don't know what something simple means, instead of even wasting time with a support email or anything like that, you can usually look up the answer within like 10 seconds on Google or a help walkthrough that we have on site. And oftentimes I see guys that are asking questions where they just didn't take a minute to watch a training. So definitely don't get stuck on easy stuff. Take the time to actually try to figure that out yourself first. But if you're still stuck, then ask for help, because we're happy to help. And third, no whining or negative attitudes. That's the quickest way to fail, because if you're always looking for something to whine about, you'll always find something. And if you have a negative attitude in your business, I find that that's very hard for guys to move forward with that kind of attitude. So I just have a quick question for you guys, and it's actually only one question I have, so you can just type 1 or 2 in the chat box. And the question I have, and this is we were debating on a couple features and services and stuff like that. So the question I have is, would you guys rather prefer a tool that helps you with like a new feature or service on your site, but it takes some time to actually do? Or would you rather just pay a reasonable fee to have someone do it for you? For instance, if you had to change like a bunch of tags around on your site, would you rather have a tool that helps you do that but still takes some time to basically implement, and you still would have to have a basic understanding of tech stuff, although not too hard? Or would you rather pay to just have a reasonable fee to just have someone do it all for you? So I'm curious in what your mindsets are. If you'd rather have the tool to help you do it but still take some time, type in 1. If you'd rather pay a reasonable fee just to have it all done for you, not have to worry about all that, just type in 2. So I'll be curious to see what your responses are with that and what the mindsets are with that. All right. All right, looks like actually a pretty good mix. Slightly more 1s than 2s, so a lot of you seem to rather prefer the tool to basically do it yourself, even though you'd have to learn some stuff with it, rather than having it be hands-free. Okay, cool. All right, guys, and now on to the call. So, as a quick reminder, if you're not already in our new Facebook group, go to getwebfire.com/FB group. Again, that's getwebfire.com/FB group. And that will just forward you to the Facebook group page that you can sign up for. Again, it's free and all that, and you can basically interact with us. You can ask questions, and you can also interact with other members and stuff too. So it's kind of a cool little way to get more info and stuff there, and basically interact with us more. So if you're not a member of that, you can join that right now. And as an extra incentive, towards the end of this call, we'll be actually giving some cash away for those of you that are members of that. So we'll give away $100 towards the end of this call. So make sure to go to getwebfire.com/FB group to sign up if you're not already a member of that. And again, a quick announcement on the new tools. On top of the new social poster features that we talked about last time, we're ahead of schedule on 2 other tools that are being released today. So we'll go over them in detail on this call, and then later today you'll get access. So for sure by this time till tomorrow you'll see all that, but depending upon what time zone you're in later today, you'll see the stuff up there as well. But before I get into the new tools, I want to briefly talk about a big trend in SEO. So pay close attention here, as we're seeing a major trend in SEO that has popped up fairly recently, especially in the last year. And all the signs point to this being a bigger SEO factor in the coming years. In fact, it soon might be almost as important as title tags and the like, perhaps one day even more. So it's definitely a major factor that I think a lot of businesses are completely ignoring. A lot of them don't even know about it. And it's one of those things where, you want to get this done, fixed, and taken care of right now, or you lose out on a lot of traffic, a lot of rankings, and a lot of business, to be honest here. And it's not all that hard to actually do if you know what you're actually doing. And we actually solve that for you by making it fairly easy to actually do here, all for free, of course, too. So the big trend in SEO is schemas. So what exactly is a schema? So if you've ever searched essentially Google or any place like that, you oftentimes see some sites that have a little extra info in the search results. Like it might be like this. Like it might have a product page where you see like a rating on it, where you see the stars and all that stuff right there. Or you might see like, in the middle there, it has the price point, or it says this in stock or out of stock, or stuff like that. And you're probably wondering, how is that done? It's pretty useful and cool info, right? And you're probably more likely to click through based upon what you see there. But a lot of people just don't know how to do that. Another example might be here. You might do a Google search and see a site that has like a bunch of other web pages within the site listed immediately underneath it. Like especially if you ever search for like a restaurant. Oftentimes, if you do a search, you might see like an extra link below the restaurant that says like menu. So obviously, you would click that knowing that, hey, gee, if I want to get some Thai food, I might want to see what the menu of the restaurant that I want to get Thai food from has. So you'd click that, and you're probably thinking, well, gee, how is that done? Well, that's called basically a schema, and that's stuff that it's info that you tell places like Google on what it is about your site or what you want on your site, and you can be showing up in the search results like this. There's also tons of other different kinds of schemas, like there's ones for local businesses, there's ones for like product review pages, there's ones even for like local maps, like if you want to show up on the map. And not only can you show up in the search engine results, you can show up on the right side of Google too. So like your map, your info can show up there as well. So you can be all over the first page of Google just by basically having this stuff here. And it's a major factor that, years back, it was kind of complicated to basically do these. And, it helped, but it didn't seem to be a major factor, whereas now, especially in the last year or so, it seems to be much, much more of a larger factor than it was in years prior. And all the trends and all the stats that we're basically seeing shows that within the next few years, this will be an even bigger, factor in rankings. And, so big that I think if you don't have them, it'll be almost as bad as not having a title tag, at some point in the near future. So even right now, there's a big SEO advantage to having one, especially depending upon the business that you're in. But in the near future, I think it'll be even more of a factor. So you want to jump on board and have those done. And luckily, we made that easy for you to actually do. So a schema can be used for stuff like about your website, can be used for local maps, product pages, blog posts, product reviews, local businesses, even news, videos, and more. They basically tell Google and the search engines more about your site so that they can then turn around and tell the searchers more about you much faster, which again gets you more rankings, traffic, so on and so forth. I'll actually demo this for you with a few more examples in just a bit here, as we made this easier than ever for you guys to basically do. So moving on from that, now that you know why or how important it is to have a schema, you probably want to know, gee, how can I get one? And the good news is here, again, we have a new tool. It will be released in beta today for all Webfire 3.0 members in the members area under the SEO tab. in just a bit today, and that's the Schema Tool. So I'll talk about that, show off that, and then I'll talk about the new one that will also be released today in beta, which is the Authority Backlink tool as well, which helps you find authority backlinks from .edu and .gov type sites, so on and so forth. So what I'll do is I took some screenshots just in case, but I'll actually just show it to you live right now. So I'll just pause the screen for a second. And we'll go to the browser in a second here. Alrighty. Just loading this up here. Alright. Alright, so what I'll show off first, I'll show off the Schema tool. So you should see the members area right now. And what this right here essentially does is this will be under the SEO and keywords tab. So shortly today we'll basically add that in there. So it's pretty cool and neat. And this is how you make schemas. And this is kind of phase one. We have phase one and phase two of this tool. So phase one is done now and in beta, and it does a lot of stuff right now, and we'll do even more in phase two. Add even more features and stuff in phase two and automate more stuff. So that's pretty cool right now. And phase two will be in the very near future, but phase one you'll have access to right now today. And as a side note too, if at any point in time, like let's say you're busy running your business and you don't want to deal with any of this stuff, you can always hire us to actually have an expert on our side set up a schema for you. So you just click here if you want to hire us to basically do it. Or if you just want to use the actual tool and do it yourself, you can do so down here. If you're the kind of guy that doesn't want to waste time on stuff, you just hire us right here. But if you want to use the tool and get the stuff done yourself, you can go right here. And as a side note too, there's two options. If you have a WordPress site, there's a bit more that we can do based on autopilot. So you want to download a plugin where we have the schema built in to kind of help with that. So you just click download plugin right here, and you add in the plugin. And then of course we'll have a walkthrough up when we have this tool in beta today, where you can see how all that's done. We'll walk you through all that stuff right there. If you have like an HTML site, which is if you don't have a WordPress site, chances are you have an HTML site, then you'd use this right here. And what you basically do is it will save all the saved schemas and stuff that you made. So it'll create a list of all those right here. You can type in a new website and it will make one for that site. But you also can pick the kind of schema that you want. So right now, here are the options that we have. And on phase two, we'll actually be adding some more. Like we'll have one for videos. So you can create a schema for videos and have a higher chance of your video showing up in a preview in the search engine. So that's pretty cool right there. That will be in phase two, along with a few other options. But right now in phase one, if you have like a blog article, you can create a schema for that. If you have a company or a site, or if you have like a company type site, you can pick this. If you have a local business, you can pick this, and that includes like if there's like a restaurant that has like a menu option or a number and all that you want to show. If you have a product page, which is like if you sell like a bunch of t-shirts or mugs or anything like that, every product that you have, you can create a product page for, and you can create a schema with that. So you already have a product page for probably each one, and you can create a schema for those products. And of course, if you just want a basic one, which is just like, basic info on your site, you would pick this one right here. And the walkthrough will give you a little more idea about what's what. And the cool part is you can actually have multiple schemas on one site. So you can have like a site name schema, which has your main site has a schema on it where every page would have that code for the schema. And let's say within your website you have several product pages. You can create a schema for each of those. And you'll notice right next to each one it says either specific page or site-wide. Site-wide means that you should add the code to all the pages on your site. specific page means it should only go on that specific page. So if there's a specific blog post, you'll want to make sure that the info shows up on just that. If there's a specific product page, you want to make sure it shows up on just that. Whereas if you have a site-wide one, you want to make sure that the code shows up on all the pages. And with the plugin on the WordPress side, it will automatically make sure that it shows up, on those pages and stuff for you. But if you have an HTML site, again, it just gives you a little more info right there. And in phase 2, we'll make it even easier. We'll basically automate even more of that stuff right there and help you kind of locate all that stuff. But let's say first up, let's say you're a local business, okay? Or that you have clients that are local businesses. You could pick local business. And this gives you a preview or not a preview, it gives you an example of what it can essentially look like. So you see right here, this is what a schema can look like. So if you do a search, it can show like a picture, it can show the map, it can show the place, the names, it has the address, the number, the hours, it can show reviews in it, and it can also have like down here, if you want, you can also have like social media accounts and all sorts of stuff right there that you can see all within right here. You can also have it show up on the maps, so on like the right side or stuff, or within the results, you can see it in the maps and stuff too. So that's all pretty cool, and this makes it super easy for people to find you. And what looks better? A single link that you click on with like a line under it, or an entire big huge thin right here. Obviously the big huge thin right there stands out much more, and that's all made by schemas. So what you then do to make this super easy, in the past you had to basically edit tons of code yourself. We make this super easy. So right here basically asks for your name, and there's certain stuff that is required, some stuff is like optional. So right here, if it's required, it will say so. Like right here, it's just, hey, enter the name of the site or the name of the business, a description of the business, and this is where you can try to basically optimize a site for keywords and stuff like that right there. Treat it kind of like a title tag almost. And by title tag, I mean make sure it makes sense, but make sure it contains the keywords that you're trying to rank for, but make sure it's relevant and looks legit too. Like don't just have like 5 keywords in one line that mean nothing. I mean, people want to see an actual description of what your business is. So if you're a Chinese restaurant, make sure that the description clearly talks about that. Then you have the URL of the site right here, and then you can also add in logos or images of the buildings or of your business or anything you want. So you can actually add in images. Then if you want to have a phone number, an address, a city, all that good stuff right there, you can add in the address info. Then over here, if you want to show up on like the maps and stuff, you can enter the longitude and latitude. And if you don't know how to look that up, you can just click right here and it will tell you what your longitude and latitude is for any place that you want right there. So it's super, super easy to actually find that. You just basically enter the address and stuff and it would find that for you right there. If you're a restaurant or you have a client that is one, you can add a link for the menu. So you'd have a menu tab that would basically pop up in the search results. You can also have the business hours, and that's pretty cool right there. So let's say that you're open from like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You basically check off Monday through Friday, and you would pick like 9 to 5 right here. And then you'd click Add Hours Definition right there. And then after you do that, you would uncheck those. And then let's say your hours on Saturday and Sunday, let's say they're 11 to 6. You would then check off these two, and then you would basically pick 11 to 6 right here, and then click Add, and it will add those in for you right there. So you just click Add right there, and it just creates some stuff for you right there. And then if later I say, hey, I want to do Saturday and Sunday, and let's say, we open at 11, 6, we add that, and it just has that showing up for you right there. And of course down here, you can add links to your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, all that stuff right there, you can add right there. So just add the link straight to your page or profile right there. And when you add those in, it'll just show up and it'll show the actual logo of like, those places, so people know, hey, this guy's on Twitter, this guy's on Facebook, so it makes it stand out even more, and it's very easy to add those in. Each time you add a link, just click add another social media site, and it'll add that in for you right there, and it will show up in your schema, usually at the very, very bottom right there. So again, pretty cool stuff right there. And this makes it all very, very easy. After that, you just click create code, or you can also click save. If you save it, it will save it based upon the site that you have. So right here, like if let's say you do a bunch of work on it, then you want to come back to it later. If you click save, once you basically enter your site right here, you just click load, and it will load up your site for you right here. So that's kind of cool right there. And then you just click create code, and it gives you some code that you place in the header of your site. And that's very, very easy to actually do, and we'll have a walkthrough on how exactly to do just that. But the alternative is to do like a ton of like tech type work and basically edit a ton of code yourself, which is very, very hard. That's why we made this super easy, where you basically just enter the info all right here, and it kind of does that all for you, and again, makes it very, very easy to basically do. Then you just click create code and add that in, and once you add it in, you can also test your site to see if it shows up fine and if it works fine. It will tell you if there's an error or anything like that, so you can go back and fix that, or if you missed something. So kind of cool right there, and one of those things that once you have it done, this is the kind of thing that you could literally do within 5 to 10 minutes, and will astronomically help with your rankings, traffic, and all that stuff right there. And this is the kind of thing too, guys, as a side note. If you go to a local business and you explain, say, hey, here's some pictures of what the schemas look like, and this is why your competitor shows up really big here, but you're not even mentioned here. This is why right here. If you explain why it's important, and and all that stuff right there, a lot of the business guys will just say, hey, can I pay you to do it for me? And this is the kind of thing that even a very inexperienced guy could learn how to do all this stuff in like a half hour or less. So, if you want to learn how to easily do this stuff, again, in a half-hour time, you can be a pro at all this, and you can make these very, very quickly and easily. And to the right business, they'd probably easily be willing to charge hundreds of dollars for you to help with something simple like this right here. And just to show off a few more things too, we can also do, let's say, like a product page. This is kind of cool right here. So a preview of this is, we can have like ratings on it. We can say what the price point is, all that cool stuff, right there. So we just click, add product offer, and you can add like a specific product. So if you have a certain page that sells one thing, you can add the price point in, the currency. If you have like, if the price point is only valid for a certain amount of time, you can add that in. If it's in stock or out of stock, you can change that. And the cool part here, guys, is this doesn't just make it look like a very cool link and like a professional link. Google and a lot of other sites oftentimes grab products that they find that have, product schemas like this, and they add it automatically into stores and such, and other websites that list products and all that crap too. So you could have, just by adding a schema like this in, your products could show up on other sites. So I'll say that again. Your products that you have listed for sale, where you keep 100% of the money, will show up on other sites, okay? Just by adding this in there. Are you guys hopefully starting to understand how powerful, this tool is right here that you're now getting access to for free? And again, you can also add reviews and review counts and all that. Now, obviously, I know a lot of you might try to say, well, gee, I'm going to try to say I'm a 5-star review, and I'll try to lie about that. Google oftentimes, I think they basically check on that stuff right there. So if you have a reviews page up with a bunch of reviews on it where you let them rate from like 0 to 5 stars, make sure that they're actually real. Make sure that the number that you actually give right here lines up with what's on your page right there. So don't just try to fluff and make up crap right there, because again, you don't want to abuse that. But pretty cool thing right there. And again, I'll say it once more. Your product and prices can show up on other sites just by having this filled out and done right here. So that's another pretty cool thing. For blog posts and stuff, you can have a schema that looks like this right here. This is just an example right here. So you can have like a picture in your blog post show up right here, titles and all that. And again, you can add in the headlines you want, the niche, the generic stuff right there, the target keywords that you're trying to actually target. You can have the author, the publisher, the image, all that stuff you can have show up right here. And again, just very, very cool stuff right there that you can easily add in. Just click again, create code, gives you the code out, then you just paste it in the header of your site, and you're more likely to show up, even in this case, on like Google News and stuff like that. And in phase 2, we'll add another schema specifically for like videos or possibly news sites and stuff like that, where again, very, very easy stuff to actually do for you guys. And on phase 2, we'll basically automate more, like, if it's like site-wide, we'll have like an easier way for you to like find the extra pages on your site to add that stuff in there. But even phase 1 right here is pretty cool, includes a lot of stuff, and is like pretty simple and easy for you. But even a fairly basic one, like for a basic site name, just kind of looks like this, right here, and it's as easy as the name of your site and all that, and then it'll just show up right there. That's just a basic one that you want to have on all your sites. On the company one, you can have one that shows up like this, like a pretty huge one right there with your social profiles and all that stuff right there. And this is an example of Apple. And again, very easy stuff to do, and one that, again, I highly recommend that you take the time to basically do this right here. So again, this will be available for you. The phase 1 part of the Schema tool will be available for you later today in the Webfire members area for free. You guys will get access to it. And again, it's in the beta now. Or again, if you just like, if you just want the stuff done for you and you don't want to do it yourself, again, we have a link right here where you can actually purchase this, and you can have our experts help make that stuff for your site and do all that stuff for you. They just need basically access to your FTP, or if you had WordPress, access to the WordPress site and that. And the plugin is basically the exact same thing, except a lot of the stuff right here you'd see within the plugin itself. And again, we'll have a walkthrough available for you guys as well. But again, very, very cool feature right there. The next tool, which again will be available in beta for you later today, is the Authority Backlink tool. And that's just right here. And right now, right now we say it's the government lead grabber. Might change the name to Authority Backlink Finder, because I think it makes a bit more sense with that. But it finds government and education sites and stuff where there's a government and education kind of like authority too. So if you have kind of like a link or a backlink from an authority site like that, there tends to be sometimes like a little more link juice or a little more authority that's passed on or given to your site. But it's super hard to find .edu and .gov type links or other government and education type sites, because they're not always easy to find, especially ones that are in your niche, and on top of that, ones that you can leave a post, comment, or reply on. So this tool is similar to the Ranked Lead Finder tool, which is available for you and always has been, but it focuses on finding only kind of .gov and .edu and other government and education type sites. So what you do in this case is you're just typing a keyword like weight loss or basically anything in your niche right there, and then what kind of what kind of area in the world you want it to have the search focused on. Default is the U.S., but of course you can add different ones. Then we'll click search. This one, it takes usually about like 15 seconds or so. It's a pretty quick search right there. There we go. That's even faster. And right here we see a bunch of links. So these are all government and educational type sites that you can either post, comment, or reply on. So you can just click on the link right here. You can go to it, and you'll see that there's a place to leave, a comment or a post or stuff like that right there. So you can just click on that, or if you want to save it to the main dashboard, you can right here. Just click that right there, then you can make like a label for it. It'll show up in your main dashboard. So if you want to have like an outsourcer work on it, you can also download this as a PDF as well. And this just gives you like the exact rank, so you don't have to pay too much attention to that, because the ranking of it is less important. That's if it's on like number 1 on page 1 or number 9 on page 1. But again, that's less relevant in this case right here. But this will search Google, Yahoo, as well as Bing. In this case, for this search, these are mostly all in Google right here, but it'll search those top 3 right there. And give, again, extra info on that. You can click there and go straight there. I've seen places that charge, top dollar to have random backlinks on random.gov and .edu sites. But all those are not niche specific, whereas these ones can be right here. Again, I basically typed in weight loss right here, and it finds those for you right there. So these are even better quality, and again, you can get these for free. So again, this is another tool included in Webfire 3.0 for free, and this will be available as beta later today as well. That'll be available shortly, and we'll have like an announcement in the members area for that to today as well. So pretty cool walkthrough. This is a pretty easy tool to actually use. So this one's a lot less explaining to do than the Schema tool. But that's essentially that on that side. And of course, there's also the new feature from last week in the social poster, which is just under social right here. We have a special plugin for that now that can basically automate the social posting from a blog of yours on top of just any social posting outside of a blog, which you could always do. And we also added an Instagram feature to that on top of Facebook and Twitter too. So pretty cool as well, and then we talked about that on the last call, and you can check out all that stuff now. So with that, I'm just going to pause the screen as I go back to the main slides. All right. All right, and again, as I said, on top of those new tools, remember that last week we actually released a special plugin addition to the social poster, as well as an Instagram feature as well. So with that, guys, we'll move on to the Q&A and the cash giveaway immediately after that. So if you guys have any questions, whether it's on stuff that you've seen today or general stuff outside of it, or any marketing questions or anything like that, feel free to ask that as we go into the Q&A. I'm just going to expand out the questions here so I can see them a bit more. All right, we have lots of thank yous and stuff for the plugin tool, including Sheena, who says, "I love you, so grateful for the Schema plugin, prayers answered." So thanks, glad that we're able to help you with that. Okay. And this person asked if there's a WordPress plugin for the plugin. So I assume you mean is there a WordPress plugin for the schema, in which case, yes, that's the one I talked about. All right, great question right here from Gary. He says, would a Shopify store be listed under a product page? Not just the store as a whole, but like if you have a Shopify store that has, let's say, 10 products on it with 10 different product pages, each product page or each product would have a different product page schema on it. So if you were selling, let's say, a Siberian Husky shirt, you'd have a product page on just that, and you'd have a schema on just that. Likewise, if you were selling a pug, T-shirt, you'd have one on just that too. So yes, that would work there too. All right. Another great question right here from Bob. He says, does this update replace what we should have with the site description, title tags, and so forth that is already inside of Webfire? No. I mean, you still want to have title tags and all that too, which we have a tag maker and all that inside of Webfire. This is just an additional thing to help give even more info, to help even more with rankings and stuff. But I do think that in the coming years, the schema stuff will get more and more important, and eventually one day might almost replace the title tag even. But as right now, you want both, and it's fairly easy to have both because, again, we make it super easy for us to do. All right. All right, here's a great question right here. They said, what if my client site was not built on WordPress? Well, that's perfectly okay, because if you have WordPress, we have an easy plugin. If you don't have WordPress, you can do it on any HTML site, which is basically any site. And the stuff I showed you was with the HTML site. So for basically any site, you just add that code into the header. If you have WordPress, you don't even have to add the code into the header. It's kind of done for you with the plugin. So either way, you're basically set there. And yeah, if you have WordPress, you can easily just install the plugin. That's super easy. All right, Cynthia asked here for the schema, if they have a WordPress site, do we simply install the plugin and set it and forget it? Yes and no. It's kind of like, it's one of those things that will still, like, the same questions and stuff that you see, it will still prompt you to basically fill in, because you still have to say what do you want, like, the description to be, what do you want your number to be. I mean, there's no way for it to know all that info or know what kind, so there's still some work you have to do initially, but it's very, very easy. But it takes care of a lot of the work where you won't have to know, like, the tech stuff about how to, like, paste it in the header or stuff like that. It will take care of that stuff for you. And on phase 2, we'll basically automate even more, so it will help you, if you want to create like 2 or 3 schemas at once, because again, you can have more than one schema, and you should, and they should be on like multiple pages of yours. It will help you kind of add that stuff in even better on phase 2, which will be out in the near future. All right, and yes, of course, we will have a recording of this available, and yes, we will have a walkthrough of the tools as well. So once they're actually added into the members area, which should be later today, we'll add a walkthrough for those as well. But I just want to go through it right now and give you like a more detailed walkthrough and an explanation of why it's important. Because otherwise, I know most of you guys wouldn't care too much about them, but I know, hopefully now you understand that schema is really important, especially like on the product one, where again, your product again can show up on other sites just by filling out that info right there. All right, so okay, here's a question right here. A person asked if they don't have any control on a website, as in they don't have FTP, it's not a WordPress, would the schema tool work there? If you can't basically edit a site, then no. I mean, if you can't edit a site, you can't even change a title tag around or anything like that. But you really need sites that you can basically edit stuff. I mean, 99.9% of sites allow you to basically edit stuff. Any good host allows you to have FTP, which is how you can edit stuff. If you're in like a program, like I know there's some like MLMs and stuff where they give you like a pre-made site, but you don't have FTP access, you can't change anything on it. In cases like that, you can't really do much to it to help. But your chance of ranking those without doing anything and having like 100,000 people with the exact same site, it's not really setting yourself up to do well there. All right, regarding the Schema tool, how would my products show up on other sites? Well, so if you do like the product page Schema tool option, there's some sites out there, including Google and stuff, that try to basically pull info from basically product schema pages, and they'll look at like the product, the picture, the price points, and they'll make like stores and stuff based upon what's basically there. So for instance, if you did a search on essentially Google, Google would be likely to show a bunch of products for sale that they know are for sale and the price point, so you'd be showing up in their listings. And there's also several sites out there that just pull from the schemas and stuff too. You've probably seen some that are like product review pages or products for sale pages that are basically these big stores that don't actually have any products. They just list stuff on other sites. So you can get lots of additional traffic and listings and stuff just by taking like a minute or two to fill out that stuff right there. All right, this person asked, can you use schemas and free blogs like Blogger? Yes, because on Blogger you're actually allowed to change the header and stuff like that, so that shouldn't be a problem there. All right. Gary asked here if we have a site that goes over the event that we have in Atlanta later next month for the month of August, and you can get the info and share, and I think you can post it in the main chat area. It's just getwebfire.com/event. Again, it's getwebfire.com/event, and again, that's free for you guys to register and join. It's a two-day event, the last weekend in the month of August in Atlanta, Georgia. So obviously, if you can make it there, great. We'll have lots of hands-on training and stuff like that, and very cool stuff that I think will make a world of difference for a lot of people. So if you can make that, definitely try to attend that, and it'll be a good time, and we'll be excited and happy to meet you. And it's Sean's hometown too, so it'll be pretty easy for him to get there. But I'll be flying in as well, so you'll get to meet both of us. All right, Janice asked here, he said, on the Schema tool, how many products should be added, or is there no limit? There is no limit to the number of products you can have. So every product that you have can have a different product page schema. So every product you have can have a different web page, and every web page can have a different product page schema, basically. So there's no limit that you have right there. So that's pretty cool right there. All right, Nikia asked here, what if all I want to rank is a landing page or capture page? What should be included in the schema? Well, first of all, it's a bit more tough to rank like a landing page or like a squeeze page, because Google tends to only try to show stuff that searchers want to actually see. And in the majority of cases, people don't want to see a squeeze page. So it's very hard just to rank a squeeze page by itself. For instance, like if you were trying to Google how to lose weight, okay? Chances are, what do you want to see? You probably want to see information, either content or videos on how to lose weight, right? You probably don't want to see an opt-in page that says, enter your email to learn how to lose weight. So Google tends to only show what people want to basically see. So having said that, you can still have a schema on a landing page, and it still is possible to actually rank a landing page. I actually have done that, on a few occasions. But it's kind of like, if you're going into battle, you can kill a person with a fork, but if you have a bazooka, you're probably far more likely to achieve better results much faster. But a fork still works. But again, I'm trying to teach you, to use the bazooka instead to get faster and better results and stuff there. Okay. And this person asked, what is the name of the plugin again? It will be available later today in the Webfire members area, and it will just be the Schema Maker. So it'll be very obvious, and we'll have an announcement for that as well. All right. this person asked here, how does the schema or the SEO help our site again? Well, it's basically what this whole call was essentially about, or at least most of it, and how it helps. I mean, it gets you ranked, and gets you more exposure, and gets you more traffic. I mean, that's absolutely huge. All right. All right, so Bob asked here, does the social poster plugin go on each site that has a blog post on it? So yes. So if you add the social poster plugin, so the new tool that we had available like a week or so ago inside of Webfire for free, anytime you do a new blog post, it will do a Facebook post and a Twitter post and stuff for you on autopilot right there. So pretty cool right there. This person asked, are .gov and .edu backlinks valuable in all niches? The short answer is yes. This person asked, is all this new stuff included in our current membership, or does it cost more? It's all included, so it's not an upgrade. Doesn't cost more. And again, it's one of those things that we could have easily made this product by itself and charged. And I'm sure, like, if I did this call and said, hey, schemas are the new SEO. If you don't have these, you're basically screwed, which is essentially true. A lot of you would probably buy anyway, but we want to do, again, even more cool stuff for you guys as Webfire members, and that's all included for free right there. So, yeah. Cool, and yes, again, we'll have a replay available. And yeah, on any site that you're allowed to have basically FTP access to, you can add a schema in. If you don't have FTP access, or you don't have a site where you can edit that stuff, your second best bet is to then try to target keywords and titles or stuff like that, or anything you basically can edit. But if you have a site where you have FTP access, you can change all that stuff right there. And what's cool is, like, on Amazon and eBay and stuff like that, a lot of those have almost like a built-in schema to some extent there. So you don't have to worry as much about that in that case, but you still can you still want to target proper keywords and titles and just descriptions and stuff like that. So exact same stuff that we've always talked about. And yeah, as a side note too, on the WordPress plugin, we actually right now we have for the product pages on the schema, it actually integrates with WooCommerce as well. So if you have a store that uses that, you can get even more stuff done on autopilot. All right. Here's a good question right here. So this person asks here, are the virtual assistants trained on the schemas? Well, we haven't trained them yet on it, but we probably will in the near future, because it's being released on the site later today. So that's something that down the line I'll probably train those guys on too, and have that as a feature that you can do there as well if you hired one of the virtual assistant deals. All right, here's a question right here. Deepak asks, if I have 20 products on one page, do I create one schema for each product? No, you'll want and this is kind of like if you go to almost any store, like any website store, you might have a page that lists 20 products, but if you click on any of those products, you usually go to a page specifically on just that product. So on those pages right there, that's where you want to have a specific product schema for each of the pages that have only the one product listed. Because that's how almost all web stores out there are done that way. There's one, and that helps you a lot with the rankings too. If there's one web page specifically on one product, you're far more likely to rank that page. Now, you can still have a page that lists like 20 products, but when they click on any of those products, it should go to, again, like a separate page or summary on just that one right there. You'll have a much easier chance of ranking well there. All right. Terry says here, always wondered how to do this. Cheers. So the code embedded into the site's header brings all this info up. Cool. How do I compete against page 1 rankings with sites that already have schemas on them? Well, it's the same way that you can compete with any site that already has a title on it. I mean, again, you don't have to be the only guy with a title tag. You don't have to be the only guy with a schema. You're competing against a bunch of guys anyway. But if you have one, you're more likely to stand out. For instance, an awesome example is if you go to a library, okay, or let's say your prospect goes to a library and you have a book there, okay. If your book is really small and doesn't have a cover on it, doesn't have a title on it, what are the chances, and let's say your book is on weight loss, what are the chances that someone is going to happen across your book if they're interested in weight loss? Well, if you don't have a cover, if you don't have a title, chances are pretty much non-existent. There might be like 0.1% chance that they'll randomly pick up a book that they saw and be like, oh wow, this is exactly what I want. The chances of that are almost none. But if you have, that small book and you have, a title on it, a basic cover and a basic title, and it's in the section on weight loss, you have more of a chance that they'll stumble across your book. But using a schema is kind of like saying, oh, if you have, a big cover with a very attractive title, and it clearly talks about weight loss and all, the benefits there, you'll have an even greater chance of someone finding your book. Now, if you do the schemas properly in the right way, it's kind of like having your weight loss book featured in the featured section at the bookstore. Right smack, first thing you see when you walk in the aisle in the featured section right there, that's having a schema, okay? So all of a sudden your chances of making that sale are way, way better. Now, sure, there's other books in the featured section. So just because there's another book there, you don't say, oh, gee, there's another book there that's being featured, I might as well not even try. It's kind of like saying, do you want to compete with 3 or 4 or 5 books, or do you want to compete with, 50,000 books? Okay, you'd rather compete with the 3 or 4 books in the featured section than compete with tens of thousands of books that, are all over the place right there. So you definitely want to have those right there. All right. Gary says he's looking forward to seeing us at the conference. So yeah, they'll be good to see you as well. And yeah, you can definitely have a schema on a sales page. That's all fine. But you want to have multiple schemas on your site. So you'll want a site schema on every site. You'll want the product page one on every product page site that you have. So, but on top of that, you still have the site schema and all that right there. And right now on the product page, you can have reviews show up and stuff. But on phase 2, we're actually releasing if you're an affiliate marketer, there's a special schema for those that are writing reviews of other products. So we'll have that on phase 2, and that's a really exciting one that I'm really excited for too, because all of a sudden I think it will bring making reviews to a whole new level right there. All right, this person asked if we have any training specific to having a store in Webfire. I mean, pretty much a lot of the training we have will apply to that. Some of the prior to trainings we have, we actually talk about e-commerce and stores and stuff like that, so definitely check out that. All right, so Nikki asked here, should I have a schema for my services page and one for my products page? Yeah, you should have one for every page. That's, yeah, absolutely. And yes, the schema code goes basically in the header. And again, don't worry about that stuff because we'll actually have a walkthrough that will clearly show a clear example of that right there. But it goes basically in the header tag. If you don't know what that means, the walkthrough will clearly explain that. If you have a WordPress site, you don't even have to worry about a header tag because it takes care of that for you right there. But the walkthrough that we'll have up soon after we post it will make that much more clear for you right there. So with that, guys, let's do the cash giveaway now. Okay, there's a couple more questions that just popped up real quick. All right, so Terry asks here, what is the average price for developers to create schemas for sites? All right, so and this says would there be any other tools that they need to create the the schemas? No, you don't need any other tools other than what this is right here. As far as like what the average price is, I mean, I've seen guys charge anywhere from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars for basically doing some fairly simple stuff right here. As basically courtesy, we have an option where for $99 we'll create all the schemas for your whole site, just to make it easy. Or of course you can use the tool yourself and go through yourself and do all that as well. But again, you can turn around and sell that stuff for way more because the value is there. Especially if they're like a local business, if they or like a restaurant or anything like that, if they don't have a schema, they're just dumb at that point. They're absolute idiots because when people are looking for like a restaurant or stuff like that, they want to see the ones that have the reviews built in, have the menus listed, have the hours listed, all that stuff right there. So you definitely there definitely is a market there. All right, Paul asked if we have any training on how to like pick like a niche, make a site, go for keywords and all. Yeah. In fact, one of the first trainings we have actually showed how to actually create like a blogger blog site in like minutes, and how you can pick like a domain, how you can target the keywords and all that. But I mean, so definitely watch that. But the basics of it are, use the main keyword tool to look at a market, or a keyword I should say, see which ones are easier to actually rank for. Then you can use the domain keyword tool to see if there's any related keywords that are available as domains. And then of course you can create a website off that. You can go to blogger.com, blogger.com, and create a free blog there in a matter of minutes. And the titles that you're trying to basically rank for, or the keywords that you're trying to rank for, I should say, you can put basically in the titles of your blog posts and stuff, and you'll have a very good chance of ranking for those. In fact, definitely check out some of our earlier trainings. We like anything that talks about how to rank fast and well would be relevant for you right there. All right, so I'm just going to pause the screen for a second, and again, make sure to go to this link right here, getwebfire.com/FB group. And what we'll do our cash giveaway right now. So if you go to that link, you'll see a post by Sharon that asks how you guys enjoyed this training call. If you do a comment in that post there, I'll pick a random comment to be a winner, and we'll give $100 cash to your PayPal right now today. So again, I'll just pause it as I go over to Facebook page. So again, that's getwebfire.com/FB group. Sharon will have that link in the chat box, or Sean will. One of them will in a second here. And let me just pull this up here. All right. All right, just give me 1 second here. So again, just go to getwebfire.com/FB group. Okay. And now you should see.
And for those of you that are asking to join, because you have to join the group, you'll get approved in like 3 seconds after you ask to join. So just refresh your page and you'll have access.
And this is the post right here by Sharon. So just make sure to leave a comment. Just click on comment right there and leave a comment. I'll give you guys a few minutes to actually do that right there. again, pretty cool stuff here because, again, I'm really excited for all the new tools right there. And I think it's extra cool that, again, you guys are getting access to this stuff, again, for free. And it's stuff that, this is the kind of thing that you'd expect to see like a launch for, like a schema maker tool. I mean, the value is huge. You guys know that there's huge value to all that stuff right there. There's a lot of people that are willing to pay for it. But again, we just want to always increase the value of Webfire, increase the loyalty of you all, and have you guys share saying, hey, Webfire is the greatest thing, it's the best thing out there, and just spread the word based upon that. That's why we do the weekly trainings for free. That's why we do all these free tools and all that. And in return, we basically just ask that you guys like that and share, and use the stuff there too. So that's always nice to know that. So all right, so just do comments, and again, feel free to like and share and all that good stuff too. We always appreciate that right there, because I really think with the schemas, there's a lot of people that will help drastically, and this makes a very complex process very easy now, and that's always a huge thing right there. So I'll give it another minute or so, and also get the random number generator up so I can pick a truly random winner. All right. And Sean, is there anything you want to add in? I know your voice is a bit shot, but feel free to chime in if you want to talk on anything.
Yeah, going on vacation can really wear you out. It's tough. It's really tough. I lost my voice in London to begin with, and it's never quite recovered as I journeyed through Eastern Europe. But guys, I think it's awesome. Some of you got the immediate idea. I could see by people posting questions, how much can I charge to do schema for a business? And really, it all depends upon how you want to do it. But you could charge them a few $100s. Certainly, it all depends upon whether you want to use this as a foot in the door, or just a one-time moneymaker. You obviously make money either way, but if you just want to get somebody in and get your foot in the door, you could do it less expensive than other people and let people know this is kind of, a special to introduce yourself to them, and you'd love to do a lot of other services for them. And this is just the first thing, and even if you made $100, it's great if you get your foot in the door to be able to do other SEO work for them, but you could easily charge $500 for it. Because if they went out and started searching for a programmer or an SEO agency to do this, they're going to spend hundreds of dollars to get it done. Now that we've programmed it, you can do it very easily and do it yourself. And you do it for your sites. You can charge other people for it. And, of course, it costs you nothing to do it no matter how many times you do it, since you can use Webfire for the promotion of unlimited sites.
Yeah, and
you're welcome.
And that's one too where a person just asked how much should they charge for essentially a schema, and I would shoot for a minimum of $500 to $1,000 because it's worth it, and a lot of places will charge a lot more for that stuff. Now you can use the tool for free and get that stuff if you just want to have one of our tech guys do it real quick for $99. They'll just go through the whole site and do all the schemas for you and all that. The reason why we're charging so little there is because, again, you're already members of Webfire and all that right there, so we're not trying to make like a big profit or anything off that. Just give an option for those that just want to be hands-free. But again, when you charge around for that stuff, I would shoot for a minimum of $500 to $1,000 because, again, it's worth it for the right place. And the businesses, once you explain what it is, once you show examples of how like other sites have that, they'll understand why they need it, and they'll understand why they're losing a ton by not having that out there. So with that, guys, I'll just refresh the page right here. And we'll do the giveaway. All right. So we have 40 comments in the post itself, and one outside of it. So, oh, and someone's writing a comment right now that I can see. So we'll give that person. All right, right there. I'll just refresh it once more. So yeah, saved right there. All right, so 43 comments, plus 2 more outside, right? Yep, plus 2 outside, so a total of 45 now. So very, very cool, guys. Appreciate all those. So what I'll do is it'll be a number 1 to 45, and we'll pick a random one. So one will be the first guy right here. 45 would be the second one below all those comments, and I'll go to the random.org number, and I'll do 1 to 45, so you guys know I'm not making it up or favoring any winner or anything like that. And the winner is 11, so I don't have to go down too far. So 11. Let's count down. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Bob Moore. Bob Moore, if this is you, you win $100. So just email us over your PayPal info, or if you're in the chat right now on the webinar, just post up your PayPal there, and Sharon will mark that down for you, and we'll get that paid out to you today. So you win $100. So again, thanks much, guys, and I'll just check real quick if there's any other questions that maybe popped up here. I'll go back to the slide as well. All right. All right, let's see if there's any last minute questions, and we can wrap it up. Okay. Yep, and the replays of these usually are posted, within a day. So by tomorrow morning, you'll see the replay up there. Sometimes sooner. All right. Terry pointed out that some members make more than one FB comment or more than one Facebook comment. Is that allowed? Well, really, you should only do one for the contest. I didn't catch that. We'll keep an eye out next time. All right, lots of you are saying congratulations. Oh, and Bob wrote back already and gave his PayPal info. So thanks, Bob, right there. We'll have Sharon get that out to you shortly this afternoon then. All right. Joe says he thought he was 11. Nope. In fact, I'll double check that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that you were not. You may have, let's just check right here. Let me just go back to it. I refreshed the screen and did the countdown right there. And it was live on the call, so that was all good. But yeah. So just count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope, that's right. Bob's 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is Bob there. So you were 12, Joe. Very close. Very, very close. Off by 1. Just want to make sure there. So yeah, so that's all good. Now let me go back to the slide again. All right.
Good, and there's some more questions while you were doing that, besides the people that were checking your ability to count.
I counted right.
I know, it's like good Wisconsin system schooling.
All right. All right, so there's a question here. Does Webfire reach mobile platforms without issues? I'm not quite sure what exactly you mean. I mean, you can have mobile sites work, with the tools with Webfire. That's all fine. Including a schema tool will work with, if someone searches you from a mobile browser, the schemas work there too, and it's just as effective, if not more there. All right. All right, here. Yeah, person asked how long before we can get VAs that will use a schema. So on the VAs that we have in train, once we have the tool live, which will be later today, I'll talk to a manager and see if we can get possibly some trained on that soon. All right, and there's lots of people saying, yep, I was right. Bob was 11. So yeah, you're close there. You're close. All right, there's a question here. How can you tell if another site is using a schema? Well, there's three ways basically. One is if you do a search on Google, a non-schema site will just be like a link and a description basically, and nothing else. A schema site tends to have more on it, like it might have reviews or price points of products or pictures. It has like a bunch more showing up, in the search engine, or a bunch of links basically underneath it for separate pages. So that's the first way. The second way is there's actually code on the site itself. So if you're more of a tech guy, or you can view the source code, you can kind of see if there's a schema there. If you're talking about your own site, how you can tell if it has one or not, there is a testing button in the schema maker that you can test your site, or basically any site, and see if it has a schema on it as well. So that's yet another way. All right. Terry asked here if we'll have tools for mobile apps in the future. You have to clarify what you mean by that, because that's a very generic type term there basically. So all the tools that we have now can work with mobile sites. If you mean like, is there one that works for like a mobile app instead of a mobile site? There's tools that can help you find leads and stuff for like mobile app users or stuff like that. But again, feel free to clarify exactly what you think right there. Okay, so he says for creating mobile apps. So we've done in the past, we've had like mobile app makers and stuff like that, but we haven't. There's nothing like that in Webfire, because like making a mobile app is a little bit different. But we might see about we've talked about possibly in the past of like doing like a basic mobile app maker for like local business and stuff like that, and we've talked about possibly doing some stuff like that. So we'll see in the future on that. All right. All right, and I think your name's Kel-Lil. I'm not sure what you mean on that specific thing that you're talking about. All right, Amelia asks here, where can I find the spinner tool? Inside of Webfire, it's labeled as the article spinner. So very, very easy. Just look it up on the left side nav bar. I think it's under either. It's under either SEO or content. I think content, but if not, it's under SEO. But it's definitely there and labeled as article spinner. All right. Oh, again, looks like Lila was just answered by Sharon and Sean there. All right, so Francis here was asking basically like, what is the cornerstone of Webfire? Well, we have a bunch of tools. There's not like one in particular that's like the main one, but basically anything that helps with like keyword research, rankings, SEO, optimizing sites, and also getting leads, traffic, links, exposure for your site, running social media on autopilot. All that stuff. We have tons of stuff, even making and distributing content and videos and optimizing those. We do all that stuff. So anything that helps to get more traffic, leads, rankings, or exposure or sales online, Webfire basically helps you achieve. So it's kind of like a ton of tools all in one right there. All right, guys, looks like we answered all the questions right there. If by chance any more pop up or later you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to check the help desk in the members area. That's the best way. And if not, you can also always write support@webfire.com. Again, that's just support@webfire.com. Our guys will always get back to you in 1 business day or less, usually like super, super, super fast, within like an hour or so, assuming that it's, not like 3 in the morning. But they're really good with that. So if you have any other questions, you can feel free to contact us there. And of course, you can always see us on next week's call, again, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, guys, I just want to thank you guys for being on this call. Hope you guys enjoy the new tools, which, again, you'll have access to later today, and we'll have a walkthrough and some stuff on all that right there. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week, which, because we were ahead of schedule on the tools, I wanted to make sure to have this call be on the tools. But next week, we'll talk more in depth about some additional SEO findings that we found and some tricks and stuff there. So with that, guys, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Bye.